Today's NFL Daily is presented by Manscaped. You can get the Ultra Premium Package and their awesome supply of products. We'll tell you all about it later on in today's show. For 20% off and free shipping when you use promo code CHAT at manscaped.com/chat. We kick off today's show with some Jimmy Garoppolo trade updates as things have been very quiet as of late around the Niners, I'll call him former franchise QB. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN reports that the Panthers have, quote-unquote, done their homework on a Jimmy G trade as, we'll get to the Panthers, because things are very interesting for me. They are currently stuck with Sam Darnold. There is no team more in obvious need of a QB than Carolina because Sam Darnold, apologies kind of to the truthers out there, is not good. The Jimmy G trade market, however, has been very quiet. I think the shoulder surgery really did impact it from a negative standpoint, as right now the Niners are just kind of sitting on that salary cap and that contract without moving him quite yet. Garoppolo is a starting QB in the NFL, but there's also a reason why the Niners traded up to go get Trey Lance. They needed help. They wanted a more high upside player. But there's also a reason why Carolina would have some interest, because they're bad at QB right now. And in general, when teams are desperate, they make aggressive moves. The Panthers were desperate for a QB last year. That's why they traded for Sam Darnold. Disaster move. And Darnold is not good. So Carolina is now once again firmly in the quarterback market. They have the number 6 overall pick. They could take a QB in round 1, but it's not a great quarterback class. That's a red flag for them. And their head coach, Matt Rule, who is really the decider for the organization, has to win games right now. If they trade for a QB and it doesn't work, he's getting fired. That's why desperation is real in Carolina. Now, they've also been linked to Baker Mayfield, which I find interesting because when Baker was first on the block, there were reports, multiple, that both Baker and Carolina were not interested in each other. And now there's like, well, the Panthers, are in the driver's seat, whatever the phrase was from Rapport about that, which I find curious. And I wonder if that's the Browns putting it out there, trying to get a team like Seattle to think there is other interest in their young QB. So let's say you're Carolina or any team in the market for a quarterback right now. Who would you rather trade for? I'm going to make this question the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Type in JG for Jimmy Garoppolo or BM for Baker Mayfield. Now we'll talk about a holdout of sorts. 3-star wide receivers are skipping voluntary workouts, which begin for most of the NFL this week. Those 3 players are A.J. Brown of the Titans, Deebo Samuel of the 49ers, and the Commanders' Terry McLaurin. All 3 from the same draft class, all not first-round picks, all 3 trying to get massive, massive paydays. We're talking $25 million or more. All 3, whether it was this past year or at some point early in their careers, have shown the ability to be a number 1 receiver. And as we saw with Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, if your team doesn't want to pay that big-time contract, somebody else is willing to do so in the open market. So all 3 players should want to sign an extension with their current teams. At least the teams want them to do that, but they want to get paid. And with the way that the holdouts actually work in terms of once you get to camp, it's tough to actually implement that because the financial penalties are so steep. So this is one of the only leverage bits players have. I don't think they're trying to get traded. I think they're trying to get the bag from their current teams. With that in mind, we've seen some wild and wacky moves so far this offseason. So of these 3, if you have to pick one, and I am making you pick one here, who is most likely to be dealt? Type in AB for A.J. Brown, DS for Deebo Samuel, or TM for Terry McLaurin. One player not on that list is DK Metcalf. The Seattle Times reports that Metcalf is expected to be at voluntary workouts this week. The team expects him to be there, and there's been no indication that the Seahawks have been told by DK he's not going to be there. So that's the expectation. DK's been grouped in a similar bucket. Last year of his deal, big-time player, once you get the bat, expensive. Other teams, Jets, would love to acquire a premier receiver such as DK Metcalf. I think you can even throw Green Bay and others in that conversation. So it is kind of a wait and see on a lot of these receivers. but they're number one guys. And in general, you should probably pay those types of players because they're really good. Speaking of really good, that's what Manscaped is, the number one men's grooming products on the internet, including the new Ultra Premium Collection. A lot of great stuff. The full allotment is right here for you guys. The deodorant, which I've got right here, body spray, body wash, shampoo and conditioner, and lip balm as well. $39.99, that's 20% off and free shipping when you use promo code CHAT at manscaped.com/chat. It's not just the Ultra Premium Collection. By the way, there's a wide array of products. By the way, my favorite thing beyond the boxers are actually the nail clippers. Those, I think, are the best ones I've ever had. They actually, work, unlike the cheap ones I've had in the past. So check the comment section and the description. The link is in there for you guys, manscaped.com/chat, and then use promo code CHAT to get 20% off and free shipping. Let's head over now to Kyler Murray, the Cardinals' maybe franchise QB. For those who didn't see the reports earlier this week, Murray is not going to play for the Cardinals without a new deal, or at least that's what his camp is leaking out there. What happened previously was after Kyler scrubbed his social media and his agent put out that kind of weird statement, his agent submitted an offer to Arizona of this is what we would like to get. And that offer was met with apparently silence. Cardinals didn't respond, didn't do anything with it there. And since that offer has been placed, Deshaun Watson got paid, and Eric Burkhardt is Murray's agent. He has pulled off the offer from the table. So things are not smooth right now for the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. And look, we'll also break down some Kyler Murray trade destinations in the near future. And that's not all that we do here at Chat Sports. There's news, rumors, of course, trades, free agency, draft, and more. If you want to stay in the know with everything going on around the NFL and Kyler Murray, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. The big reason why I think the Cardinals haven't paid Kyler yet is A, they were allegedly a bit unhappy with some of the things that were going on behind the scenes, the leadership aspects from Kyler. They thought it was not the best there. And to be blunt, Murray and the Cardinals collapsed down the stretch. These numbers are stark differences for only having one more game. It does include playoffs, by the way. That's why the numbers don't match the regular season. But the touchdowns plummeted, and he fumbled 12 times last year. Didn't lose any of them, but that might regress to the mean, to the middle in the end. So Murray's play, I think, does raise some concerns because he didn't break out the way it seemed like he was going to the first 8 games. And I saw a guy like Baker Mayfield have a great 10-game stretch last year. We know how this year went. So I understand if the Cardinals are apprehensive about giving Kyler Murray what he's asking for, which is probably Deshaun Watson money now, if not Josh Allen money. The quarterback market was kind of reset by Aaron Rodgers, and Deshaun getting a fully guaranteed $46 million per year contract, I know that upset other NFL teams because that was a lot to give up to a player who didn't play football last year because of off-the-field accusations and red flags and still ongoing lawsuits, by the way. The quarterback market only goes up. If you want to pay Kyler, it's got to be minimum more than Derek Carr, right? He's going to be asking for Deshaun Watson money. That's a lot to pay for a guy that hasn't quite established himself as a true franchise QB, despite the raw ability to do so. So in the end, what do you think happens with Kyler Murray? Get your predictions in for me in the comments section. Type T for they trade him, P for they pay him right now, or type in W for they wait. Whether it's through this year, the next year, whatever it is, the Cardinals don't rush into paying Kyler. They call his bluff about him not playing without a new deal. Let me know in the comments right now. Speaking of guys getting paid, Denzel Ward has gotten the bag from the Cleveland Browns. He signed a record-setting extension with Cleveland, 5 years, $100.5 million, more than any other corner in NFL history. That is more than Jalen Ramsey, who was the highest-paid corner, as Ward becomes the second DB to hit that $100 million price tag range, along with Jalen Ramsey. More than Marlon Humphrey, more than Marshawn Lattimore, and by the way, more guaranteed money than all of those guys as well. So that is a massive extension for Denzel Ward, who might not be hyped a lot but certainly is one of the best young corners in the NFL. So I want you guys to grade the extension for me. How do you feel about this one? A, B, C, D, or F? Sound off for me in the comments section. I will make note that I don't expect Denzel Ward to remain the highest paid corner for that much longer. Jair Alexander, who I think is better than Ward, is probably a top 5 CB in the NFL. He's up for a new deal, along with other young players like Sean Murphy-Bunting, Byron Murphy, Trayvon Mullen. You can throw in Jamel Dean here. Down the road, you've got guys like A.J. Terrell, Trayvon Diggs, some of those other guys who already got paid, getting paid again. So he's not going to be number one forever, but if you're Alexander, I think you've got a new benchmark to try to clear, so keep an eye on the Packers paying massive figures to Alexander whenever he eventually gets the bag.